Level Up Latina partners with working women and mamas alike to guide them in achieving fulfilling career and life goals through financial empowerment, professional or leadership coaching, and personal wellness. Find the unique coaching you need to succeed.
You're listening to Vero, Ceci, and Irene, and we are Level Up Latina.
Welcome back to another episode of the Level Up Latina podcast. This is episode 221, and today we are going to talk about the Breakthrough Brunch. And that is happening this Saturday. We're so excited. You'll be hearing this sometime between October 4th and October 7th, hopefully, so that you can make it out to our event. If you listen to it after, you will have missed a good one, and we will have missed you. So today's episode is all about the Breakthrough Brunch, but I'm going to be honest. I'm going to be sitting here trying to think about an artist, because right before this, we were having a conversation about iconic, like, slow jam songs, and now it's like bugging me because I could hear it in my head. But you know when you can hear something, you can't say something? Anyway, I'm one of those people. So I'm going to be trying to multitask and think about that artist and hopefully blurt it out in the middle of this episode. And when you hear that, you're going to be like, why is she talking about that? We're not talking about that, but that is on my mind. But until then, I'm going to let my co-hosts introduce themselves, and I'm going to frantically be using context clues to Google something that has nothing to do with the Breakthrough Brunch so I can figure out this song. But I am really, really excited.
You're determined.
I'm determined. Go for it, girls. Go for it. Tell us how you're doing.
I'm good. Aquí, echándole ganas a la vida, al amor, al podcasting. But excited that the Breakthrough Brunch is coming up. I can't believe we were just saying we just saw each other like not so long ago. And in fact, it was a year ago at the Breakthrough Brunch. It was fun. Estaba haciendo calorcito. I remember, that I think because we were there later, I don't know, but I remember I had a bunch of piquetas de mosco, so I'm gonna go with my mosquito repellent. I got a bunch of. I was wearing like a short dress, and so los mosquitos me atacaron. I don't know if you guys remember.
Pierna, ven pa' acá.
I know.
You always look gorgeous, so sorry about the bites, but everything else was gorgeous on you.
Thank you. Oh, that reminds me. I'm like, I don't know what I'm gonna wear. Have you guys thought of it? You guys were, ¿qué se van a poner?
My quinceañera dress.
My quinceañera dress.
Wear my quinceañera dress.
Yeah, I don't know. I haven't thought about it, but we'll figure it out. But I'm excited about that. The food, seeing you guys, the place. It's so cute. And just getting to see, folks that we meet monthly on the Guilt-Free Squad. The ladies that join us, the newer ladies that I think are going to be joining us in person and finally meeting. So I'm looking forward to that. I'm excited.
I'm excited too. Oh my God, Ceci, right now you mentioned like who's going to be showing up. And like, I know that some of my clients are flying in. So I'm going to get to see them in person and meet them in person and be able to hug them and be like, girl, I'm so glad that I got to meet you and see you through this process of leveling up and growing and challenging yourself to really do the damn thing. And I'm excited about that. So I am Vero. Irene said, introduce herself. So I am Vero. I am the pink-haired co-host that is learning to follow my love for life without the worries of what others think. And that started with the pink hair again. So I'm looking forward to our Breakthrough Brunch. I'm looking forward to seeing you, Ceci, and seeing you, Irene, in person. I know sometimes life gets in the way and we're unable to see each other, and it's just what it is, And then right now with Irene talking about the song, this weekend I was such a fool. I thought Immature sang this certain song, and then it turns out it was Soul for Real. And it was like Aisha and like Candy Rain. You guys remember Candy Rain? Okay, I thought it was Immature, and it turns out it was not. So I was wrong. So right now with Irene trying to figure out who that song or what song it was and who sang it, I think you figured it out.
I did, and I just love it because this show is about two things. It is about racking your brain to figure out songs you love and the artists that wrote them and produced them or sang them, and the amazing Breakthrough Brunch. I'm going to give Ceci another chance to introduce herself if she wants to, because that would be cool. But the song was Baby You Send Me, PM Dawn. I could not figure it out, but it's Baby You Send Me, set adrift on memory bliss of you. I know you guys have heard that song. I love that song when it comes up. But anyway, Listen to it, look it up. That has nothing to do with Breakthrough Brunch. But what does have to do with Breakthrough Brunch is that we often have really good music. And last year, our music got complimented, our playlist, the vibe really fit the scene. It was a very Instagrammable place. So send us your song selections if you've been there. We have clients that went last year that are hopefully coming back. And then we have new clients coming this year, like Vero said. In fact, I was over there sending like Airbnb recommendations to people and places to stay and cities to choose. So it's going to be both new women and women that have come together, that have been a part of the Guilt-Free Squads. It's going to have a really good flavor. So this is your event too, is my point. So share the music that you want to listen to, the vibes that you want to experience, because this is such an intimate, beautiful, like mimosas flowing, brunch being served, great weather. The mosquito bites did not happen there, I don't think, Ceci. I hope not. I don't want to promote mosquitoes, but if they come, it's the best event. So I get why they would want to be there. But anyway, Ceci, introduce yourself and then we'll keep going.
Thank you for that. You know what? I don't think I've heard this song, but I just played it a little bit. When you were singing it, I was like, oh, it sounds familiar. But then I looked it up. But anyway, I'll listen to the full song later. Yes, I forgot to introduce myself. I was so excited talking about whatever it is. I forgot what I said earlier already. But I'm Cecilia Alejandra, and I am one of your co-hosts at the Level Up Latina podcast, and I'm also a coach. I also lead the Elder and Disability Law Department at La Raza Centro Legal here in San Francisco, a nonprofit legal aid. And we do all kinds of cases for folks that live in the area. Ando bien perdida. I'm also a mom of twins, happily married, 8 years, and I live here in San Francisco. And what else? I am a lover of Paulina Rubio and Enrique Iglesias. I'll end up with that.
Woohoo! I love it. Who wouldn't want to come hang out with you, amiga de la vida? Both of you. Our co-hosts all have their beautiful stories, their journeys. We have motherhood in common. We all went to the same college, so we have wild youth in common. We're still young. Cuarentonas y buenonas, as Ceci coined for us, and people love to hear. So come to this event to experience that. I'm the third coach and founder of this wonderful company, and we love working with women. We love coaching, and I'm the executive director of a long-standing organization that helps kids to and through college. I also run another company called Wealthy Latinas, and so I get to coach kids through there as well, funny enough, as well as Wealthy Latinas. But our baby, our heart is Level Up Latina. And our podcast, this is where we collide and come together on our podcast. And it's got 221 episodes as of today. Dios santo, it's a lot. And it's been a blessing. And somehow we manage and we bring it together. But the fun thing about the podcast is that we're going to set it up at the brunch. You're going to have a chance to be on it. If you choose to be on it, we're going to have a little corner of the room or maybe a little area in the home where you will get to share your voice and be on the show. Of course, it's totally optional, but it would be fun to do this for a little while and jump on the mic and come up on a show that is live happening at our event. And then listeners that are out of the country that couldn't make it to the event get a chance to experience that feeling of networking and women coming together and empowerment, because that's what this event is all about. So the podcast is our baby, and the podcast will also be heavily featured at the Breakthrough Brunch, October 7th, 11 a.m., Wilmington, California. Get your tickets at leveluplatina.com. But that's just the basics. What else do y'all want to share about this event? Either how awesome last year's was, what you loved about it, what you were surprised by, or how awesome this year's is going to be and all the amazing stuff we have in store and planned. Please share whatever you wish, whatever is on your heart to share about our awesome second annual Breakthrough Brunch.
I really love that. Our panelists were great last year. I think they really motivated. I think their stories really resonated with our guests. And then one of our panelists, Doctora Adriana, brought her mom, and her really, giving us props and, for the work that we're doing and encouraging, women like us, that are managing a multitude of hats, right? I think I really enjoyed her giving us those props and being there, and her supporting her own daughter, allí en el brunch. So that's one of the highlights that I remember from last year, and looking forward to our panelists this year también, and mingling and having just women supporting women, and I think we need more of that, and just being in person and enjoying and sharing space.
So many random women showed up, and there were women that we did know, right? There were clients that showed up that was really nice to see and spend time, and they brought someone with them. And I think that was the beauty of it. Some of them were like, I didn't want to come alone, but a lot of them were like, I want to bring someone along to experience this event that is about celebrating who we were as women, celebrating, our breakthroughs in whatever area of our life it happened, and coming together to really just vibe and have a great time. And not only that, but like put yourself out of the comfort zone, right? So I noticed, different women engaging in conversation with other women that they did not know. Some showed up, like I said, some showed up with someone and they brought someone along to experience the event, and someone brought them along to accompany them to not feel alone. But once you were there, I think the feeling was very much of like support, love, collaboration, like positivity. I felt that there was so much positivity in that space that really resonated with a lot of us. And I feel that the beauty of the panel really kind of drifted off into an experience, like sharing of how great it was to be there. That, it became like some of us broke into tears, like it was just a beautiful moment to be who we are, to be around other women that were not there to judge you, but were there to be supportive and experience being with other women. And it's, most of the time we're set to compete with one another. And instead of that, it really felt as a place of love, a place of be who you are, a place of, of just really acceptance. And I really loved that. And that vibe, that feeling that came from that, I think me duró días, along with the sunburn, right? Along with our sunburn. I mean, I was beyond red for a while. So I had to drink my sorrows away with those bottles of wine que nos quedaron. So I was good.
Yeah, there was endless drinks. We had awesome raffles. We had goodies and giveaways. That was really fun to see all the businesses that came together and supported us, and they're doing the same this year. So you are paying a very, very low admission fee to get not only entered in a raffle, hear from these amazing women, have brunch and drinks, unlimited, all that stuff is wonderful. And it lasts beyond that day. Like Beto said, a couple of days of feeling good and feeling connected and wanting to come back. I'm really excited to see the women that are coming again. Women that had to miss it sadly last year, but were quick to get their tickets this year so they could be there. I'm really excited about this year's panelists, like what they've accomplished, their stories, who they are. Come and be surprised. If some of you know exactly who our panelists are and you're coming because you heard them and love their stories, great. But we always do, I think, a very good job of curating an amazing group of women to inspire and to share their journeys and their different walks of life, whether it's corporate or entrepreneurial or creative or like falling into the influencer space, like whatever their background, you're going to find something for you to connect with, whether it's the quiet and strong one or the boisterous and, funny one. Like there's always a woman that you will connect with. And sometimes it happens in the networking that happens aside from the panelists, which is very, very cool. I always love events where there's tears. You might be moved to tears. You're definitely going to laugh. That happens at this event. And we're going to do our best to keep it exciting and jovial and feel good, right? But there might be some emotions, and that's really good too. Because like Vettel said, it stays with you and it inspires you to hopefully level up and grow and get community. That's what I love about this event. It creates community. It's very intimate. It's not like a huge event where you don't get a chance to meet and talk to everybody. It's purposely small. We pick a space that is intimate for a reason. And so you can feel like it's just big enough if you are a little uncertain about knowing everyone in the room. But it's just small enough to have enough connection with each of the people there to feel good and laugh together and make an impact. So I love that about the venue. Beautiful, small, intimate. Maybe next year we go up to the Bay and make it easier for Ceci and our audience in the Bay. And maybe it does grow. And so we do outgrow this venue, and that would be a good opportunity to take this event to the Bay. So for our listeners, tell us what you think. We have a lot of clients that are from like the Chicago area. We have a trickle, I think, in Texas and some in New York, some in the Bay. So we'd love to also move around and get to other places in the country. But for now, it's in sunny SoCal on the 7th of October. And the panel is going to be incredible. What else are you excited about this next one or the previous one? Any new additions or surprises that you're excited about, or giveaways or people?
For one, I'm excited to just go down there, to fly out there. It's like my little weekend getaway from, my normal of being up here and doing the things I do over here. So I'm excited about that. I'm also excited about like bringing the podcast to live ahí en el evento. A ver cómo nos va. It's going to be exciting, I think. But yeah, that's one thing that's going to be different from last year. And just to see, some of our sponsors that have sponsored us on the raffles. I'm excited to give those away and do the raffle.
I think I'm most excited about the podcast, I swear, because we're giving the opportunity to those in attendance to either put together questions for us, and who knows what they're going to ask and what they want to know. But I'm looking forward to that interaction. Like, we're making the podcast so available and accessible. Like, having a live podcast is a dream come true, I swear. But I think that's mostly what I'm excited for. I'm curious to see what's going through these women's, our audience's mind, and what they want to know and what they want to kind of dig deeper into, which if you're in attendance, great. And if you're going to listen to this later, you're going to see like, dang, that was so awesome. I feel like it's going to be just such a great show. And really get us out of our comfort zones, because sometimes for us, we prepare in advance, right? We like at least have an idea, hey, we want to talk about this topic. Let's discuss XYZ. And there it's going to be like, well, que te salga. ¿Qué estás pensando? What do you want to really put out there? So it's going to challenge us in a different way as well. But I'm really looking forward to that.
I agree. I think that's different and unique. And our origin story is our podcast. So this business didn't exist without a podcast. It's like one of the things that we were like all three excited about. And we were thinking about developing this business. Well, things have changed since we first developed it. The podcast hasn't. Like, it's only gotten better. It has its like little sister, which is the Guilt Free Squad. It's got its group coaching. It's got its own like life of its own. And all these episodes and all this consistency. I'm so proud of my partners, my co-hosts, that we have been incredibly consistent with this baby of ours. I think it's what we should be so proud of. And so now this baby of ours is coming to the event. It's grown enough. We trust it enough. We're letting the baby out the house, and the baby's going to come to the event. And you all can be in the show, because where we get a lot of love is from our listeners. So much love, so much positivity. And we hear from a lot of women that say how much the podcast has helped them and how much the podcast has been there for them. We talked about the other day, and we've talked about a couple times on the show, how we do assessments for coaching, and people will know us from the show. And it's a little like, ooh, cringe. Like, what do you know about me from the show? Like, it probably was a funny moment, or maybe it was a deep moment or a serious moment. So you get your chance to do that and share. And that'll be really, really fun. Like, it's starring you, our guest, if you want to. So we're going to have that moment, have that journey, podcast live from an event, and enjoy that. So I'm looking forward to that for sure. I really, really like the networking that happens after. A lot of the women that were clients in the room of mine last year connected with women that were on the panel after the fact, and they're working with them now in some way, which is really cool to see. So not only are our clients growing and asking for help, but when they see other professionals, for instance, like Ligo Miga, who was a panelist last year, who, by the way, is just like everywhere and just growing. And she was one of our first podcast guests ever, Taylor Tiemann, and we're clients of hers. We've always been. And now to have had her on our panel, people have connected with her since. Now she's got clients that we have in common. Like, it's just this perfect bubble of be where the winners are, be where the excellence is, be where the growing is. You don't have to be excellent. You grow, whatever that means to you and whatever your excellence is. But the tip of this podcast is going to be grow, stretch. Maybe you're feeling weary about being in a room with anyone new, or maybe networking isn't your thing, or maybe you're not quite sure, but something is gnawing at you about, oh, this sounds fun. This sounds exciting. This sounds like they would have a good time. Like, come, like, stretch. That's the tip of the day. Stretch yourself to be around other women that are at different levels of their life and career and trajectory and experience, and that will empower you, will inspire you, will be like it is on the podcast. Like, nothing but good vibes, nothing but great advice, nothing but raw, honest women sharing the good, the bad, the ugly, and maybe even the cheat sheet to have a little more of the things that they've already accomplished because they learned maybe the hard way. So do it different, ask for help, learn from them. And that's what I love about this event. But not only does the podcast bring that, but the live event component brings that. So tip of the day is come, even if you're a little unsure or a little not a fan of networking. I can see that. A lot of people avoid networking. That's a scary word.
You know what? That reminds me, last year we had a guest from coming, she booked her flight. She came from Jersey, right, Manuela? And she just booked her flight and she came solita. And I really admire that of her, like que vino acá solita. And then after the event, like we got together, we had dinner with her. Irene and I think Diego and I forget who else came, but it was
Edson, our muscle who carried all the stuff around that day.
Yeah. Oh, that's right. But it was so cool, like of her, like just to like, ¿sabes qué? Yo voy a ir. I like what I hear. I like the podcast. Like, ¿por qué no? Let me make a trip out of it and like go to the networking brunch. So, me encantó que hizo eso.
That was pretty impressive. And that's kind of happening this year. We have a lot of out-of-towners that have booked their ticket and that are coming. But it's super impressive. Shout out to Manuela. I hope she's coming this year. We got to send her this show and tell her we hope to see her. We'll hit her up before since this is airing that week, but maybe she'll come. She's a traveler in her own right. Esta muchacha.
Yeah. It's like be your own Manuela and date ánimo, because it's always us. We're the ones that sabotage ourselves. We're the ones that hold ourselves back. Like, ¿cómo me voy a ver showing up by myself? Who cares? Honestly, who cares? This is a time it's just like, ¿qué tiene? ¿Qué importa? No importa nada. And you show up and you have a great time and you meet people that you never would have probably met because you were limiting yourself. You were you're holding yourself back and keeping yourself from meeting amazing people. And we just happen to be amazing mujeres, and that we're promoting the coming together, the synergy of the womanhood, and anímate. If there's anything that you think that is holding you back and you're like, I'm afraid that they're going to tell me this, that, or the other, and they're going to think I'm a loner, girl, it's okay. Who cares? Who cares, really? Irene, you were mentioning something about, women and coming together and like really allowing ourselves to be, who we are. It's beautiful to learn how to do that now, right? And to learn how to do it, period, because we're always concerned about the male counterpart, whether it be in the workplace, whether it be in our relationships and our friendships. And it's like, well, how do I get through this male counterpart? And it's like, many times women ourselves aren't able to like have open communication with our female counterparts. So this is a good way to like start breaking the ice and breaking through that barrier of potentially developing great relationships with other women because of whatever reason you think, holds you back of being able to do that. I could say for myself, like I never thought I could have female friendships. I was always a guy's girl. And then college happened and I met these two amazing women along with the rest of our girlfriends from college. And it's like, you kind of just have to allow yourself to live it and enjoy it and breathe it and be it, because there's nothing like that female energy and the positive female energy where there's the beauty that comes with having a woman by your side, a strong woman by your side that says like, girl, that's not working. This is working. Try this, try that. Y que viene de amor, viene de un lugar de que they want to see you succeed. And that's what we want for you to experience. So join us.
That reminded me of a client that we've had for several years. Y'all know her. She's like VIP. She lives over in the Bay by Ceci. But I remember one of my first sessions with her, she said something like, I don't have a lot of girlfriends and it's fine. I don't need friends. And I sensed a little twinge of like, that wasn't totally true. It's just been her story. And she has her family and her husband and her career and a great career and a great success there. But I felt, okay, all right. Okay, maybe you don't need friends, but I feel we all need community. And it's very cool because this is one of the clients that first joined the Guilt-Free Squad. And it's like, she's completely gung-ho and a part of the Guilt-Free Squad. And like, we've gotten together in person with her and other members of the Guilt-Free Squad. And people recognize her for her advice and her strength and her stories. Her perspective is always so refreshing to me. I find her to be such a good example to me personally, because just the way she lives her life, and very health conscious, very community conscious, bilingualism that is huge in her everyday life. Like, I admire her so much. And I'm like, wow, man, like this is a person that said I didn't need the piece that was the community. And I have clients today that tell me like, oh, I don't want the Guilt-Free Squad part. I just want coaching. And for some of them, I'm just like, oh, it really does seem like you need the other part too. But all right, we'll skim it down and it'll just be coaching. But come as you are and experience what you want. And no one's saying you're going to find your best friend for life here. But community is always so beautiful. Community is beautiful, and other women and their stories. And even if you feel something really touched you from a woman that just spoke out loud at this event, maybe you don't even exchange names because you're not comfortable with that, but you exchange stories And that's really powerful. And if you're not in the room, if you're not in that moment, like you don't catch those stories that really change your life. So that particular client, I'm not putting her on blast, but she's been here for years and she's been a part of our community for years. And I would venture to say she does feel like a friend, you know, even if she doesn't want that label and wouldn't call us friends. There's a friendship need that I think is being filled with her involvement. And it happens with a lot of women in the Guilt Free Squad, I think. And Vettel maybe has said this before, maybe Sissy, that sometimes people don't want to admit that they're lonely. This is one of those really great times where nobody's asking you to wear like a lonely sticker on your head. Like just come to feel different, like to feel maybe among a bunch of strangers, sure, but not alone, which is really cool. And a company that was built on like no estás sola, like that's the model of LUL. And the Guilt Free Squad, like sometimes we beat ourselves up for feeling lonely. We feel guilty that we don't put ourselves out there. Well, then come to these events. That's the thing. Come to these moments where you don't have to feel remorse or regret because you didn't show up, right? That feeling sucks. Feel uncomfortable because you did show up. Feel a little bit of the nerves because you did come. And when you're on your way there, you're like, what am I doing? It's so hard to make friends too as an adult. I mean, that's such a common denominator with our clients, like them trying to make friends. Like the fact that ladies, we are who we are. We started this in college. I mean, I don't know if I would have approached red hair Vero now. I'm kidding.
Oh, yes, you
I was
would
trying
have.
to find something to say
Oh,
about
yes, you
Ceci.
would have.
I'm like scanning Ceci. I'm like, what do I say about Ceci? Like, keep it
Vero's
there.
right there. Con su
Yeah,
pelo.
Vero's right there with her red. I love Vero's
bam,
hair.
bam.
I probably would have thought like she's too cool for me. You know what I mean? I would have been fucking
yeah.
intimidated. Like, God, that mom is so cool. How does she do it? She's got 4 kids. Look at her hair. Look at me. I can barely get it together. And my kids are grown. You know, grown ass women talk themselves out of just fuck it. Like we did in college. Like,
Constantly, yes.
in college, we didn't give a fuck. Queríamos andar solas? No. Like, I need friends. I mean, the way I was when I joined Hermanas Unidas, I could have swore like Jesus came down and gave it to me. Like, I was so into Hermanas Unidas, right? Why don't we do that as adults? Why don't we do that as adults? Like, why don't we get fired up about being in community with other women? Because, you know, life gets to us. So women, come to this one and experience a little bit of that.
A little hugging,
good.
if you want the hug. A little, you know.
Fist bumps.
Yeah, fist bump, high fives.
Laughter. Connection.
And, I mean,
Laughter.
now I can't do my touchiness. Like, I was too grabby. I was like that. I was the Joe Biden of our friends, I think.
Then Joe Biden.
Yeah, you know, like, oh, I went from shoulders to, I can't expose
I loved
myself
it.
completely.
I loved it.
Completely on here. I won't expose myself, but yeah. I will radiate love to you.
Well, listen, we are super excited to see all of you that will be at the Breakthrough Brunch on Saturday. You can get your tickets at leveluplatina.com. Again, this event is full of good feelings, powerful people, including you that shows up because we all have beautiful power within. It has an air of just good, relaxing podcast vibes, podcast there, giveaways. It's always fun to win things. So that whole piece is always fun. Amazing women that are repeat attenders or new attenders. Amazing businesses will be featured. So if you still want to get in on that, I mean, it's never too late. If you hear this on a Wednesday and our events on a Saturday, and you're like, oh, I have to come and bring my goodies to your event. Please do. You know, we had that happen to us in San Francisco for our launch party. We had women hear about the event last minute and came and promoted their businesses. And that went over really, really well. So this is an opportunity too to highlight our sponsors and our businesses. So hopefully you have seen on social media how we highlighted our panelists, and you can go back to social media and see that now if you need to at Level Up Latinas, our handle on Facebook and Instagram. But our sponsors make this happen. We don't do this without them. Incredible women give us amazing gifts. I know last year we were giving out photograph sessions that I ended up seeing the end result and loved. We were giving out makeup sessions, which again, I saw the end result and loved. I mean, fun fact, one of my clients won the makeup session and she's like, I never get dolled up like this. I never do my makeup like this. But since that session, which she won with Inner Glow Beauty, when she won that session, she then had her whole makeup done. She had a whole photo shoot done. I mean, she looked like a bazillion bucks, and she kept doing her makeup since then and like doing her hair a little different and just felt this energy that was there. She run a freaking raffle item and this energy came back and this desire to do her makeup. I thought that was a really cool part of that event and that result of winning this random, it almost seems like unimportant raffle prize, but it actually changed how she felt about herself. And ongoing continues to feel about herself. So that's pretty cool. The giveaways, the sponsors, the fact that we connect one another and are very generous with one another. So thank you to our sponsors. Please consider being one still if it works for you. Otherwise, come to the event, win some big stuff, enjoy the panelists, enjoy the weather, enjoy the grub and the drinks. And of course, for anyone that is sober, this is not a big old Cinco de Drinko kind of event. It is an open bar, but it's very, look at Bet over there laughing. Her mic is off, so you can hear her laughing. It's very awesome in the sense that we are a respectful, mature group. So you can expect the drinking to be controlled, even though it's an open bar. And I must say that because there's so many people out in the world that are like, someone talk to me. Someone talk to me about what I want, because I'm not going to be excited about a mimosa. So if that doesn't do it for you, I get it. I see you. I respect it. But come for the other part that does, because it's not centered around the alcohol brunch vibe. It's centered around the women empowering, connecting, networking vibe, which I love. And it's all based on this amazing friendship and podcast. I love that we're going to have this event this weekend. Get your tickets today at leveluplatina.com. Email us your questions if you have them. Our email is admin@leveluplatina.com. Share about this event. Invite your friends. Get a ticket for you and a homie. We love you all. Thank you for coming to the show. As always, thank you for learning about the Breakthrough Brunch. We hope to see more of you there this year. If not, there's always next year, but we do hope to see you. Grab your ticket between now and Saturday. And until then, that is a wrap. Thank you for coming to the show.
Thank you. Nos vemos el sábado.
Chaucito. So excited to hug you all.